How to make a slab tray. After using the slab roller to roll out your clay, making sure it's the right width and length, compress using a plastic rib or a metal rib. Remember to use the straight surface and not the round surface. Go horizontally, vertically, diagonally, both ways. Fill any air pockets, poke them with clay, compress back over them. Once one side is done, then carefully pick that slab of clay up and flip over. Again, compress it vertically, horizontally, diagonally. Again, trying to get all of the canvas texture off of the slab. If you were unable to, or if you didn't do this during the firing or the drying process, your clay can warp. So this is an important part. Make sure to do both sides so they're nice and smooth. Since I am working on canvas, I do not want to cut with a needle tool or an X-Acto knife. So I grab a piece of newsprint, carefully pick up the slab, place it on the newsprint, roll up the canvas, put the canvas away. Again, since I altered this or moved this, make sure that the slab is again smooth and flat, so go back and compress it. I talked about on Monday to bring textures if you have them, some kind of stencils. I will supply some stencils, but as you can see, I will be using a rolling pin for my textures. I roll the full slab, as then I can pick what areas are interesting to me, design wise. So again, maybe it's in the middle, maybe it's not. Maybe I want to move it over to the right. Possibly, can I get 2 trays on this one slab? So really think about it and plan it out. Once you have that, I take a needle tool and carefully draw around the exterior of my wooden form. This is called a hump mold. Then carefully with an X-Acto knife, going straight up. I do not want to do an undercut. I want to cut straight down around this whole piece. Take your time. Cut the little corners so that it can release from the slab. Move that out of the way. On a large piece of foam that is covered with plastic, move that on the table. The plastic is so that the foam does not get clay dust in it. If you use slip, it doesn't get dirty. We can just throw that trash bag away. I have my little piece that's cut out. Carefully with a damp sponge. I need to go get some water, so I have some water available. With a damp sponge, I go around the edges so that it doesn't look like I just cut it with an X-Acto knife, which I did, but again, this will prevent it from cracking and from those sharp edges. So again, carefully going around the piece, not pressing too hard, as I do not want my fingerprints messing up that texture. Then grab your wooden hump mold, flip it over, center it. If it's off a little bit, we can fix that later. And then press. The foam will help the clay create that shape. Carefully pick up the back and both sides, flip it over. I usually grab a turntable, as that hump mold is flat to the table, so it's hard to pick up. So grab your turntables. As you can see, the newsprint is still stuck to the back of my piece. That was okay. It's just when I cut it around to cut that form out, I cut the newsprint also. Right now I'm just adjusting it. It is off-centered a little bit. Go back, make sure everything's pressed down. With your needle tool, as you can tell, it's a little bit tricky, so I switched to an X-Acto knife. If you have an X-Acto knife, please bring one. That paper just comes right off. Okay, Now I can go around with the sponge again, clean up all those edges, making sure that this slab is compressed to shape of that wooden hump mold. If you have a metal rib or a rubber rib, I go back over to really define that bottom edge, which you will see in a little bit. So by doing this, it defines that bottom oval shape, which gives it a nice flat surface. Making sure you go all the way around it. Once you have that done, again, clean it up with a sponge. This would be a good time for you to write your name, etch your name into the bottom of this piece. You could add texture to this bottom surface also if you wanted to. I would grab a piece of newspaper, a bat, set this on a piece of wood and newspaper, because we are going to release the clay from the hump mold. Carefully pick it up, and there we have our tray. This will be a good time to clean up the edges again with a wet sponge. We do not want to pick these up and move them as we would alter them, but there you have it.